Okay, video 2. Let's start by writing these next to each other. And thankfully the variable is x, so we don't need to change it. So we're going to have x over x plus 1 plus 4 over x, not 4x, 4 over x. And that's going to be divided by, remember, the entire quantity of 4x plus 7 over 3x plus 3 minus 1/3. Okay, here we go. Same strategy as last time. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to put those together. Then we're going to put those together. And then we're going to do the division, which is really the reciprocal of multiplication. Okay, so here goes. Remember, we need to multiply by the opposite denominator, okay? You might try this on your own. I erased a 3 there. And see if you can get it, all right? So I need to multiply this by that denominator. So that's going to give me x squared. And then over here, it's going to give me x times x plus 1. All right, I wouldn't actually do that because remember, we always like that last step where we can we're gonna hope that there's also like an x plus 1 on the top, right? And we're able to go like that. Okay, plus. Now, I need to multiply this by this denominator of x plus 1. So I'm gonna have 4 times x plus 1 over x times x plus 1. And voila, they have a common denominator of x times x plus 1, okay? So right now I'm going to think about this as this side, okay? And hey, how about while we're here, how about we just put this whole left side together, and then we'll deal with the right side separately. So I know that we like the x plus 1 thing because we can cancel it, right? But we want that to be our last step once everything is put together and it's simplified. That's like the last thing. But right now I want to add these two together. So in order to do that, I am going to want to distribute this part right here. So I'm going to have x squared and then plus 4x plus 4 because 4x plus 4. And then it's going to be over my common denominator of x times x plus 1. Okay, so we're good to go on the left. Now let's start to tackle the right. Okay, so I need to multiply by my opposite denominator to get them to be the same. Okay, now I can see that they both have a 3 in them. So what I'm going to want to do here from the beginning is I'm going to want to factor the bottom left of this problem to start out from the beginning, okay? You could go ahead and try and you'll get an answer. And again, there's multiple ways to do these. You could go like, okay, times 3x plus 3 times 3x plus 3. And that's gonna take a whole lot longer. So it will be a more efficient way to do the problem if I factor 3x plus 3 to this. So let's just think about that. Like, and you'll see why we did that in a minute. Okay, so our denominators, if you look at them, they're real close to being the same, right? Because they both have a 3 in them. So my first one is 4x plus 7 over 3, and then x plus 1, and then it's minus. Okay, so I need to multiply this side here by its opposite denominator. They already have a 3 in common, right? So what would make these common denominators? Well, it already has a 3. I need to multiply by x plus 1 on the top and on the bottom. Okay, now that those two are common denominators, just like the other side, I need to combine the top part. You might want to try that on your own. So I'm going to have 4x plus 7 minus x. Okay, remember, it's going to be minus x, and then I also need to distribute again. But it's going to be like negative 1 times x, negative 1 times 1. It's going to be negative x minus 1. Okay, Okay, and all of that is over 3 times x plus 1. Okay, let's simplify that top part though. So let's put 4x and negative x together for 3x, and let's go 7 minus 1. So that whole top part is really 3x plus 6. So it's going to be 3x plus 6 plus 6. All right, and remember, this is division of this entire quantity. Okay, this is a longer one, even though we're doing it a more efficient way than we could. But again, there might be an even better way to do it. But this is the way that we're going with for now. Okay, so since I have this right here, I'm going to want to try to factor that and hope that there's an x plus 1 in it that we can kind of factor away in the end. So what does that simplify to? Well, what multiplies the 4 and adds the 4? That would be x plus 2 times x plus 2 over x times x plus 1 times, now we got to reciprocal the second one, 3 x plus 1 over, I'm going to factor this as well, to 3 x plus 2. That's this factored. And now that it's multiplication, remember we go like this. This is the fun part, okay? Go all the way across. And then we get out our canceling pin. And what happens? Well, we have x plus 2 going away with x plus 2. And I have x plus 1 going away with x plus 1. And I'm left with 3 and x plus 2 all over 3x. And then my last simplification step would be 3 divided by 3. Those would go away, and I'm left with x plus 2 over x. Okay, and that is our final step on that problem. So if we go back to what we were going to do in the whole video, we did all of that. I just wanted to talk about future Zoom meetings. So that was definitely our biggest. It was nice to talk to all of you guys. Oh boy. Poor roofers. It was nice to be able to talk to all 60 of you guys at once, but there was no way I could even begin to answer all of the questions that you had. So you might have been just a little bit frustrated. We are gonna work with that in the beginning to make it a little more efficient, so I don't have to do a video like this too every time afterwards. But we'll have smaller groups, and as teachers, we're kind of figuring out a more specific ways to do that. Apologies to those of you guys who were in the waiting room and signed in a little bit late. I couldn't let you guys in because I was screen sharing at that point, and I couldn't see the waiting room until we went on to the Kahoot, which didn't really work either. But anyway, hopefully that was helpful. If you do have more questions or concerns or anything, feel free to email me.